There'll be a couple different moving parts to this, but I don't think it's too difficult. Like a lot of their songs, it's pretty simple, 3 chords, so E, D, and A is what it is. It's in the key of E, so should be pretty simple. So I'll start with going over Brian's part. The signature riff goes a little like this. Not a little like this, exactly like this. So that sounds a little complex, but it's not too bad. So the ring finger here on the D string, you slide up to the 9th fret. And then with your index finger, you press down on the 7th fret of the G string and play that. And you go back to this 9th fret of the D string. And then use your pinky finger here to press down on the 9th fret of the G string. So you go. And then you play the D string open and hammer on that 9th fret with your ring finger. And then you play the 7th fret with your index finger of the G string. So altogether we have. Then you're going to want to move your index finger down 1 fret and then play the open A and then hammer on the 7th fret. And you can do it, Brian does it with his ring finger, but you can do it with your middle finger if it's easier for you. And then you play that 6th fret of the G. And then you start all over. So Brian plays that throughout the entire song with the exception of the chorus. And for the chorus, it's pretty simple for him. He just does a bar chord. So the chorus goes from A to D back to A. And so he'll just bar the A right here. Then when he goes up to D, he'll bar the D chord, which is, if you don't know, it's on the 10th fret here. And you go back down to the A chord, which is on the 5th. So he actually does a little arpeggio, which is just going back and forth on these 4 strings right here, starting with D. And then you go back down here. And then you go back into the riff. So that's pretty simple. That's all Brian does the entire song, is just goes through that signature riff, and in the chorus he just goes to the... Just going back and forth starting from the D string down to the E, then back up, just very lightly. So that's pretty simple for Brian right there. And then Keith, like I said, he plays this on the acoustic guitar, but I'm not going to switch for this. So he plays just the chords underneath that riff. So the chords are E for like 4 beats, then D for 2, then A for 2, and then you just repeat. So... So, that's super simple. You just play that the entire song. And you can do that on acoustic if you want, or you can just do it on your electric. Like I said, live, Keith does it on the electric, or did. I don't know if they still play this, but... the only remaining part is the solo, and this was kind of a little bit more difficult to figure out, but it's not too bad. So, you're going to want to bar with your index finger here. And I like sliding up into it. I think it sounds good. But you go up to the 9th fret, barring essentially everything from, D, then you go to G, to B, to E. So you're barring all these strings right here. And then use your pinky to get the 12th fret of the high E string here. So I go downstroke, then on the upstroke I hammer on this 12th note of the high E string, and then you go ba-dump after that. So, and then you go down to the 9th fret, or excuse me, 7th fret. So you go from the 9th down to the 7th with your pinky still in that spot, you know, where it's 3 frets up from that, so it's on the 10th now. And you just do 2 there, so you go from the top. I guess just 1. And then you have the A formation here, but Keith plays it the other way you can play it, whereas Brian was barring it like this. This is the way Keith plays it, where you have, you know, your index finger barring the 5 fret of the B and the E, middle finger on the 6th of the G, and then ring finger on the 7th of the D. And so he goes and plays that. So it goes. And then lastly, he comes down to the E chord down here. And just plays that the normal way you play an E chord. So from the top. And then he has this little riff where it goes. That sounds a little complex, but it's not too bad. So he slides with his ring finger from the 2nd fret of the G string to the 4th. And then your middle finger is going to be on the 3rd here, the 3rd fret of the B string. And so you play that, and then you go back up to that 4th fret of the G string. And then you slide it back down. So you're just, when you slide it back down, you're just strumming the 4th fret here and then sliding it down to the 2nd fret on that G string. So from the top, pull off and play an open G. And then with your ring, oh gosh, you can't see that. With your ring finger, you play the 2nd fret of the D string. So from the top, and then full speed. So that will probably take some time to get down, unless you're pretty good with that kind of thing. But that's the first riff, and then he goes in and plays that same pattern I was telling you about before. So, you know, up at the 9th fret. And then the riff after this one, you slide up to all the way on the G string up to the 9th fret. That's what you play, but you slide up to the 9th fret and you go. So you're doing playing the G string here, and then you have your index finger on the 8th fret of the B string. So you go. And then after you have your index finger on, you're hammering on with your ring finger to the 10th fret, I think. And then you're bending it up. And you bend it up again. And then you do one more time. And then after that last time, you take it off and you play the 8th fret, I guess. And then you go back to that 9th fret on the G string. And so that's half the solo done right there. Like I said, that'll probably take some practice, but then you go back to the same familiar pattern we did before. And then so the third time you go through it, you do the same riff you did the first time. And then back up again. And this is the part, the last part of the solo, where live Keith plays it a little bit, like literally like one note different from from how it is on the recording. So live he plays it. So he's playing it up here. On the recording, which is kind of what I prefer, is he plays it down here where he bends that 14th fret of the E string here. And then he, after he bends that up, he releases and plays the 12th fret. And then you go over here with your ring finger to the 14th fret of the G string. And you bend that up and back down. And you play it again. And then you pull off to the 12th fret. So that's what you have right there for the solo. Like I said, it's just, you got that simple pattern that goes. And then you have the 3 different styles, one obviously repeating in between each of those that you can practice. And then eventually you can put it all together and make it sound good. But those are all the parts to the song. You just got to kind of put them all together and practice each bit by bit. Rewind in the video if you need some more help with it. But if you can play all those parts, you can play this song perfectly. So I hope this is helpful for you. And if you think it's helpful, like the video, leave a comment. If you think I messed up, I don't think I did. But I'm always open to criticism. So I hope this is a helpful video.